on this western edge. But Luxy running into his own molly. The Moss a bit more flammable than he expected there. Takes himself down. Flique will drop to the zone. I'm not sure how much life Zerich has got left in him to get further into this match, but they'll be certainly happy. Drop to the zone. I'm not sure how much life Zerich has got left in him on that side. Gladiators eliminate 4 eliminations, certainly happy. Drop to the zone. I'm not sure how much life Zerich has got left in him. So unlikely. Reject, though, very pleased with their positioning. I think they quickly identified this spot was open down towards that south side, playing off the back of it. Enigma Galaxy. Look at this, Jackie. It's the day 2 buff. It comes in clutch for them every single time. Actually find themselves somewhat of a decent rotate up towards this western side after they were able to take a really good fight versus BTR early on and gather themselves a bit of storm going into this match. But the circle, again, moving away from all these favorable spots towards Udo Alliance and IHC. Very playable position now for both these teams, but they've got to get across first. With the side swipe available for both these squads, it's just a matter of time because you desperately want to get up towards that coastal edge so you can start taking shots over towards teams like Influence Rage, Brute Force, Duxan as they attempt to make their way over towards that coastal side. It's just rough here. Duxan attempting to leave from Hartin, get towards that southeast edge and crush all the teams that are attempting to push their way through Hartin on the western side.
I love how Ventores has been basically like the mosquito that's just whizzing by Enigma Galaxy. He's been kind of just annoying them in the backline blank. He's only a solo, but he's been popping up time and time again, just taking shots at them, just being a bit of a nuisance. And they've decided to move because of it, opting to look for some compound control to play with. They funneled themselves into one building, but Lufa's here, big damage done with the big gun as he leaves them all just clamoring to stay alive. I mean, yeah, they've popped the smokes. They've got themselves tucked into the building and at least probably can reset on the players that have been down. Oh, hello, Squash. He's lived up to his name. He's still alive, Blank.
What?
He's still alive.
How? What?
He's got steel Kotak boots on, Blank. He's taking it on the chin. He's dead.
I said 3 nades his way. Goodness me, I think the only way that happens is as he's dying, literally in those moments, the stim has to tick him up by like maybe a % of HP, but it took the vehicle straight to face. Maybe it wasn't going fast enough, who knows, but surviving that is silly.
Left looking like a roll of toothpaste.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't live up to his name because he certainly wasn't squashed in that situation versus Reject, but wow. Well done, I guess, to live the first initial car. I don't even think Reject intended for that to happen either. It was just a bit of a scout understanding there's probably teams still on the top side of the hilltop. Just lucky that they get the roll down off the back of it. Circle over towards Enigma Galaxy. Fortunate to get that little shack early on here. Now, a lot of teams will have to push in towards and Reject opt to go for themselves. A little bit of a 2-2 split. Got 2 players still playing up on high and Influence Rage decides it's a time to put an end to the camping trip on the outside edge.
Oh, they've had enough. They don't want to share the camping grounds any longer. But it seems like Prepod, he's got other ideas in mind, Blank. He wants to be the new landlord. He's grabbed the contract for the camping grounds and he's starting to put his foot down as the DBS sings strong. Federal watching his entire team melt one by one and just sitting in the camp office, just thinking, what on earth do I do now?
Dear me. I mean, for Influence Rage, just the worst happenings there because they had a chance here to actually play from this southern edge and get into the circle later on, but losing a fight like that versus Brute Force in 15th place certainly hurts your chances a bit. And we know that Influence Rage, they needed to get a move on the team that we had all of our sights on. FaZe out now. Ventores did finally leave our game with Duxan still taking some good shots over towards Reject. It's our 2-2 that was up towards the western side. They try and put their eggs in 2 baskets here to give them the best chance going forward. I like this play from Sarah and Duello, though. They're going to stay up on high. They're stealing as many points as possible, up to 6 eliminations so far. You can see here, Udo Alliance were the first ones to cross on the bridge. Got up towards that bottom side, but Duxan, still a rough journey ahead of them. You'd completely exposed to these teams underneath the bridge here. IHC still behind them, but living up to what they wanted in the interview, which is get more placement points.
And it looks good for IHC to do just that. They've been so good at getting eliminations, but placements were the thing they could not get their fingertips on for love nor money. So if they can change that today, it could do wonders to keep them so far up in the standings, because this has been a big one so far. 7 elims as well. Duxan might be going the way of the eliminations as they're just eating bullets blank. It's Godless that snatches it as well, so that'll be another one for IHC. Quick reaction from Zara. Wow, straight down. Resets. They've known that they had the entire squad from Enigma Galaxy trapped inside this little shed for quite some time, so they're still just peppering them anytime they peek out. This is a fight that could get a little bit messy though. Udo Alliance on the bridge being ushered into the zone with the blue. Godless and Co from IHC on top. He jumps down. He goes for the acrobatic assault blank, but it doesn't work. 0 pointer on that.
Yeah, I mean, he could have gone for something a little bit more here, but it's brute force from Prepod. Forgets about the player from Influence Rage, still inside the building as Federal strikes in a moment. It's YDO to hold things down. It's a 5 eliminations. Nice little play from Influence Rage there to come out swinging. Kept very, very silent for a long, long time. 5 eliminations. Reject's still on that top side. Duello tries to drop off to get into a better spot here. Sara goes down, and that will be Reject going out in 4th place. But from that high ground position, we're able to steal away a lot of those eliminations here. YDO moves forward. Not a lot of chance to get Prepod back up again. Enigma Galaxy afforded a very nice little win here with the compound. I say compound, the shack they're able to hold on to. They will go down. That's Enigma Galaxy win on the cards. A difficult push for them, a difficult choice to make. Do we take the shack? Is it worth it? And it certainly was here.
Wow, could have been a lot worse as well. You know, when they initially took control of that shack and moved in, they were ruined in terms of the manpower, brought down to just 2 players surviving, but the resilience is shown. And that's a hell of a comeback. That's at least a better game from them. You know, a facelift from what we had yesterday, Blank. If there was a time to put a right foot forward, this is a good one. It's just the fact that the sheer longevity of the mission they've got to go on to make it towards that top 5, it's so hard. It's so unachievable. But if they're getting a start like this, who knows? We'll leave it in fate's hands.
Yeah, that 2% chance. Maybe it's here. Maybe they rolled the dice and maybe they came up with the 6s. We'll have to wait and see it. It's kind of an interesting game, that one, because a lot of our teams towards the bottom side actually ended up doing well in that match. Reject, you know, you saw Duxan get far into that match as well. Brute Force with themselves a 2nd place, and Enigma Galaxy with the chicken dinner. These are our bottom 3 teams, 14th, 15th, 16th respectively. They get themselves a high placement in this game. Udo Alliance certainly benefits from this match as well with their 41 points at the start of the day. That should, I would imagine, with a lot of our teams in the 1st to 5th place going out early on, send them towards themselves a 5th place spot alongside with IHC, who did fantastically well in that last game. Remember, guys, I want to reiterate this. After yesterday, 9 placement points, 34 eliminations.
Man, big numbers, big gameplay, and so much excitement. We've seen a lot of crazy things, so let's go for something a little bit more normal. It's the classic, vintage, dulcet tones of Jason Kaplan and the Deaths. Let's get back over there.
You know, somebody the El Clasico of PUBG Mobile here, as we did get to see Enigma Galaxy take a start, a win. I'm not going to hype it up too much since they were bottom of the table at like 5 points. But this is the start they need to potentially have a chance to get through top 5. And Claris, we saw the exact same thing happen for them in our survival stage.
Yeah, let's be real. There is always the potential across 6 games that teams like this, teams who have shown excellence in the past, can make magic happen on a final day. And Enigma Galaxy, they threaded the needle to be able to get to some of these spots because they were coming in late to try and get to these compounds. I was surprised that the compound south of Hartin was open, but they were able to blitz through to it. Never mind the shack that was east of that. There's potential magic, not only I would say for Enigma Galaxy, but also maybe from Mad Bulls as well, if they were able to try and move this on, because those are the 2 teams down towards the bottom that I think could make magic happen here in the final day.
A lot of the teams that we already mentioned on the pre-show, and even yesterday, Brute Force also to win 15th position before this. Udo Alliance surviving really fine this game. They were before this match in 9th position, and even Reject They were in 11th position. So currently, this match has been hot for those bottom teams that need to try and race for the top 5 position. So I'm loving how this day has started, because we said it's feast or famine for these teams. And Coops in particular said, well, he talked on Twitter. He said everything or nothing. Seems like this game was everything for him. And looking at this head-to-head pre-pod, like the way he cleared Influence Rage with, well, it's a DBS, so of course it's going to happen. But he has been slowly standing out alongside Default as top players from the African region. He's been on fire.
Yeah, he's been putting in some work and definitely been one of the standout players for Brute Force. And obviously they have a lot of work to go, only at 21 points, I believe, at the end of this game. I do want to mention, by the way, as we were talking about teams, you know, up in the top leaderboard and teams at the bottom, a huge game for a team like IHC. They get 10 points with 8 eliminations, 2 placements, and that actually overtakes Xavier, who only came out with 1 point. So IHC have been able to get themselves through into the top 5, but not only them, look at U2 Alliance. They were able to jump up as well here into 4th place, and I believe they started off this day at 9th.
We said it, Jason. It's going to be an absolute scramble
as well here in the 4th place.
And I believe leaderboards is not going to look anything alike, I think, what we had at the start of today. And that's it. One good game can catch you up and put you up in a comfortable position. FaZe, Procedure Evos, Team Kesso haven't budged too much though. And actually talk about Team. What the hell was happening between them and Gladiators? I have no clue. Gladiators, Papi throw a split, and yet Gladiators lose 2 players. Team. They are currently the team upsetting Gladiators a lot in these matches, so Gladiators got to adapt a lot heading in the next match.
I think the interesting thing about this, Jason, is top 5, 0 chicken dinners, right? Like, it really shows the emphasis on being great when it comes to gunplay, great when it comes to those team fights, and being able to then eventually convert some placement points from those gunfights that you're seeing play out here. Yes, of course, technically PUBG Mobile is a survival game, but there's a real emphasis here for these teams that are able to take strong fights, strong positions from those scenarios. So it's not always about the chicken dinner at the very end here, because these teams that have risen to the top, they've shown why they've risen to the top.
Yeah, and I think what's also scary about this top 5 is that you currently have a 2-point difference between 2nd and 5th. 2 points between 2nd and 5th. I'm not sure we're able to say that too often, to be honest. And even in 6th down to 9th, it's a 3-point difference.
There was a highlight as well on that, which showed all the, like,
right?
it showed like 1st to 9th, the little bracket, the out border thing that was glowing. But honestly, there is such a chance for teams even below that, if they have an insane day, to be able to jump up. So I think it's a little bit misleading about who could be in the challenge here, because I think, Max, you said, you know, Enigma Galaxy, they were tweeting out that, you know, they think they're coming in hard here for this one. I thought, considering the lateness of them coming into this circle, they weren't exactly coming in hard for this one, but, you know, I mean, they make it work. They make the win happen.
Yeah, I said it like yesterday and even on the pre-show, but I don't know what to expect in terms of who's going to be the top 5 at the end. I think, do we have some maybe like FaZe, Procedure Evos, Team Kesso looking good, but it could be in complete shambles by the end of these next 5 matches here. So it's tough to predict. I'm looking though, looking in the next 3 wrangles coming up. U2 Alliance, they were really good when it came to that map, securing 2 second places and also a decent bunch of eliminations. They follow up this good game with that. I think that they could, on this next map alone, maybe solidify their position in top 5 and then their spot in the grand final. So, man, U2 Alliance, if they keep these results up, chances are they already got their ticket going their way.
Well, we do have to kind of bring our memory back, but unfortunately not too far, as it was yesterday. We got to see Inco, unfortunately, with another hot drop with IHC. We're going to find out if that's going to happen yet again today. They avoided Mad Bulls this time, but can they avoid IHC? We're going to find out with our commentators of Jackie and Blake.
Okay, the 3 Erangels back to back then. This is where things normally get a little bit more tantalizing, Blank, the known quantities that start coming out. We'll see, mate, because I feel like, you know, we've already sort of let the lightning out of the bottle with the way the lobby started off. I don't think it's going back in.
No, dude, it's a tricky thing, that lightning bolt is zipping all around the room here as we head into our 2nd game here. Obviously, we talked about IHC as well as Inco over on the desk there. That's potentially a thing that comes through. IHC realized that, you know, that fight between them and Inco seems to be pretty easy a lot of times. They taken down 2 of their players almost off the bat. I think the only difficult one was their first initial hot drop over towards that team. After that, it seemed easy breezing for them. But heading into the game in just 20 seconds. A lot of these teams strategizing, thinking about what they want to do in this match. For BTR, that last game didn't go too well. Neither for Evos currently on screens. So we'll see what happens. UDO Alliance, though, consistent throughout the entirety of this last